Well, hello. Just wanted to give you some good info, and hopefully you're seeing the cool screen here. And this is basically some real life system programs that are running in the background of my machine. And there's a script here that changes the way that and kind of makes it look cool. And it's called Hollywood. So it's kind of what would happen if a hacker was in your system, maybe creating some disruption. You may see some things that look familiar to you, and some other things that aren't. But basically, what happens? Some people ask, "What do I do? How do I get around? How do I navigate? And what exactly am I supposed to do?" I'll give you a couple of navigation hints and about the command prompt in general. One is when you get somewhere that you're not sure you want to be, you can always press Control C. And that means when you hold down, you notice I got a prompt right here. So I'm going to press Control C. And then what I can do is I can type exit. And notice that got me back out and I got me back to a place where I could do some things. Now, there's always a command help, right? So help in any system, the command prompt should always give you something. It may not necessarily be what you want, but it's going to help you get somewhere else. So that is always a helpful thing. In this case, I get the help for my bash. Now, if I use a man command, I'll do man, and I get the manual page that tells me about the manual page. Press Q for quit, and I get quit. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and I want to give you a little demo here today. And so some people have asked me, well, what do I do? How do I get around Telehack, and where do I go? And I'm not really sure what to do. So I want to show you some things. So I have a little setup here, and basically what we're going to do is do a little simulation. So in this case, I have basically this is a simulation of my monitoring system. So this is my monitor. I get to see the connections. Now, one of the things that I get to do and I can look at is I can use a command called Netstat. That's exactly what it sounds like it's going to do. It's going to give us the status of the network. In this case, the status of network connections on the computer. So if I use that command, what I get is active internet connections without servers. And it looks like there's basically some column headers here. Protocol, receive queue, send queue, local address, and then active Unix domain socket without servers, and some more headers here. Okay, so there's really nothing here. There's no connections to be made. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a connection. So I'm going to go ahead and use this computer up here that I call the server, and I am going to use a little program called Netcat. You don't have to remember this, but I'm just kind of talking to you so you can see it. But Netcat is pretty simple. It takes a program which is generally called cat, used to output anything, and I simply output whatever I would normally output over the network. So Netcat is actually something that's used by a lot of nefarious people to create specific, actually what are called backdoor shells. Okay, so this is something that's used for that. You'll kind of see what that looks like here today. So I'm going to use Netcat, and one of the things that I have to do, if I don't know how to do the program, I can just say usually netcat-help, and I get a nice list of things. Options. In this case, these options are called switches. So sometimes it's going to require me to use some things, and sometimes it's not. In this case, I get my Netcat allows me to do two things, and that's what this manual page is telling me. I can connect a server, and it tells me how I might go about doing that and what options I might need to use to do that. Or I could listen for an inbound connection. So I'm going to go ahead and, because this is the server, I'm going to listen for an inbound connection. So I know that I need to do netcat-l and a -p because I'm going to use a port number. It won't let me do it without a port number. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and create a listener on a port, in this case 8888. Now, I just made that up. It could be anything. There's a lot of port numbers. And I'm going to use a special address called localhost. That always translates to 127.0.0.1. Use a TCP connection. I'm just going to do that. What it looks like, and okay. We're going to go over here to our monitoring system and we're going to type in Netstat again. Don't get Netstat and Netstat confused. They sound the same, but they're a little different. Okay, so we don't currently see anything. I don't have a connection established. So I'm going to go to my client. I'm going to pretend like I'm a user at the client computer, and I'm going to say, okay, we're going to use the Telehack program, and we are going to make a connection. So we're going to take 8. Let's see. That didn't work. There we go. Connected. So I'm going to look here at my connection again, Netstat. And look at that. Now I see both connections. In this case, I see the connection that's been established on the port number 8888. And then I see that I have here, it's made a connection on port number 3952. 3952 is a random number. And so I get to see both of these connections because I'm actually kind of looking at it from the situation of being over, an overview of it. And so here's also this send and receive. We're going to see if these buffers actually move a little bit when we type. So I'm here and I've connected to a system, and normally what would happen is there would be another program running over here, and then I would have output something over here, like for instance, maybe output a prompt, right? Or maybe I would see a login screen right there, and so I would send my username, or it would say maybe it would say username, right? And I would send my username, and when I hit enter, notice what happens is that the system actually pack it up, and it passes the whole thing right over there on to the other system. So we see what I typed. And so if I look at that again, I still see a connection. I don't see any queues, but basically if I were to send a big old file over here, I would probably see some queues. So let's see. Let's respond on the server. Let's respond to this guy. Please enter. Oops. Let's respond. The server would say, please enter a correct password. And I would say I did already. And the server would say, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we can sit here and chat like this, but this basically is the what's going on now. I don't have the ability necessarily to Wireshark this traffic and show it to you. I don't think, because I'm actually running in a virtual machine. But we can see we can see this now. This connection will stay open as long as I leave it, here. And so what I'm going to do is just something you can do just like you can do on Telehack. If you, okay, I'm connected to a host and I'm done with that. Now, there's no program running over here on the server, so it's not going to be able to interpret anything that I write. It doesn't know how to do that. It's pretty dumb. It doesn't really understand instructions that well. All it's doing in this case is passing the data over from computer to computer. So in this case, I'm going to use the Control D, which should disconnect. In that case, it's not, but Control C should also disconnect. Let's see, Control C. My text that I'm typing in is there, but let's do another thing. So escape character is Control bracket. We're going to use that little caret means control, and I'm going to use the brace. There we go. Now we're back into our shell, and I can just type in quit. And as you can see, Telnet close the connection. Now this server would generally, at this point, it would actually reset and it would open up another listener, wait for the next connection. In this case, it's not that advanced, right? I'm just doing a little demonstration here so you can see how this works. Now, when we look at Telehack, we do some very similar things. So I'm going to jump in here real quick and show you 2 things. So first of all, right off the bat, if I do help, all right, you want to read these, right? Read what all the commands do, right? This is part of doing the reconnaissance. Right? I'm in a system and I don't know what everything does, so I need to find out. I need to find out what tools I have at my disposal, okay? What tools do I have at my disposal? So there's my finger command. Show my current IP address. That might come in handy. I don't know. Halt might come in handy. Right? I don't know. I'm going to try some of these things. Netstat, show connected hosts. What is that? All right. So we also have a quest, hacker quest. We can look at the radio. Right. Lots of different things we can do. We can type show for a list of options. So there's lots of different things that are in here that are commands. Some of them are games, some of them are different things to have fun. Connect to a Netstat host for login. Try guest. That's interesting. Okay, so what we'll do, and then here's some other UU map. Hey, it's anything you see with posts, those are probably pretty important things. Okay, so let's just run Netstat. Now, if I want to get out of that, if I was running help and I want to get out of it, I could easily just press Q for quit, and it will stop. Okay, Netstat. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to show the status of the network connections, and we can see that there are several different hosts that are connected. And so, can I get in here? So let's try doing Telnet odd job. All right. So, there we go. University of Chicago. guest. Whoa, okay. So if I'm doing recon, if I'm doing reconnaissance, all right, a couple of things that I can find out here about this system, right? So I want to take note of some things. First of all, the guest account let me in. Secondly, I can see the type of system that this is running, Sun 3280 Unix. All right, so that may be different than some others. Modem lines have changed. New number, 312-702-8208. It looks like a phone number. All right. Help. These are commands that I can do on this system. I don't have the same. Some of the commands are the same, but not all of them. Who am I? I'm guest. Show running processes on this host. Right? Rootkit. Maybe somebody hacked this host, and now they have root. Okay, so and they're running a Sun OS kit. That might be important. Okay, so anyway, I can see some more about this. And let's see what files are on here. All right, so I should be able to run and read and look at files. All these files might have some good information in them. Okay, press R to restore any other key. Again, the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. Looks like a text-based adventure. Anchorhead, a sullen belch emanates from the clouds, and the rain starts coming down harder. Okay, we can look at that later. Control C. Let's see what else we got. So some of this stuff may be documents that have good information in them. Other stuff may be important files. I would look for things like exe files. A lot of times there are things that are embedded in the exe files that let you gain some points that you have. A lot of times there's also information in text files that are good to read and look at. And these are basic programs that you can look at. I think there's a basic interpreter on the other system. Yep. So, little basic interpreter right there. You can write some code, and there are some games that will let you practice your coding. I think usually Quit works on that. All right, so these are the hosts that I'm connected to. I can see some things. Right, again, I want to look at exe files. Those can be important. You probably have some of those. Um, so maybe you want to look for some and try to run them. If you can, support hack. You want to continue? Yeah. Oh, we're scanning. These must be our open ports. Let's try 21. Oh, it didn't work. Maybe we'll try the login. 513. Nope. So, you can keep going through that if you want, and maybe you'll get somewhere. Oh, but there's a lot more than just that here on this game. So, continue to play around. Remember, read the manual. More telehack.txt. Good stuff in there. Send zero cell a message. Play some games. Use finger.